Hey everybody, welcome to Zineville. I am Chris, your host. We have a great review with Scarfff Comics, and also we have a great Countdown Questionnaire with Sage Coffey, one of my favorite human beings. Stay tuned, you know what time it is. Hey, my fellow zine folks. How are y'all doing today? So let's talk about some random stuff that's happening right now. I'm in the middle of moving. It's kind of a mess right now. I have most of our zines all packed in boxes, so I can't find anything. But we're going to go ahead and chit-chat about some upcoming events. We just went ahead and applied for DC Zine Fair. That one is Zine Fest, Zine Fair. That one is not really too far away from us, and I think we really need to start doing more zine fairs outward in the area. We will be at Big Lake Comic Con this weekend, and I will be recording and doing some man on the street questions. Well, man on the street, whatever. How about demon on the street questions, because it's very gender neutral and I am a they them, so so demon in the street questions, and we're going to find out what some people think about zines, or do they not know about zines. We have a table, so we have a nice little like 10 by 10 apartment for the weekend, and also we will be with the press pass at SPX Small Press Expo in Bethesda. I'm really excited about that. I wanted to actually, this episode's a little bit late, and I owe an explanation why. When I went to Raleigh this past Monday, I was trying to like push everything a little bit back. I had to go pick my mom up from the airport, and I was going to go to the scrap exchange. I didn't realize they're closed on Mondays because I don't know how to check the Googles. And then I was like, oh, well, let's go to Shelf Life in Greensboro on the way back. They're only online now, which I'm really sad about. So if you have any ideas for like little mini day trips, I live in South Central Virginia between Danville and Lynchburg. So if you have like any like quick little day trips that I can take in that whole like corridor, I can get the car for a day and I can go do stuff. I just want to get some good footage for y'all to be able to see. Places where I can find zines, places where I can find stuff to make zines, maybe somebody who makes zines I can interview. Yeah, I mean, I'm in this area, and right now we don't have the capital because, as you can see, it is me. Just me doing this, and I do want to bring it up to 2 episodes a week. I definitely need some help. So we did host a Patreon, and the link will be below if you want to. There's some really cool things in there, some very affordable tiers if you are able to do it. Basically what this is going to do is give us the gas money to go and do things so we can bring it back to you. I'm not asking y'all to like, sit there and like foot the bill, but a little cooperative, like home team help would be great. Speaking of that, that is a monetary way that you could help us. I mean, hey, any little bit helps trying to do this. I mean, I'm printing out a bunch of zines. I did that, that's out of our pocket. That's fine. What I would like to be able to do is make this self-sufficient so I can do this and bring more stuff to you. Like, we have an idea to get a small bus and be able to do like traveling classes, traveling like scholastic book fairs, but with zines and stuff. That is in the grand plan of everything. Zineville, I really have such big dreams for. And when we started this as Zine Cuisine, it was a very narrow focus on, just like zines and stuff. But no, there's so much more to zines. There are RPG zines, there are comic zines, ash cans fall into that, photo zines, small like publications that can be considered in a zine. There's so much more to zines than just like the word zines, So I really want to get the whole community behind on this project, because I really think that it could benefit everyone. One way we like to do that is I want to have you do one of 3 different ways to promote yourself. If you want to pay for an ad, that's great. I will make sure it rolls each one. We have Andrew. Andrew Neal from Reading Comics was amazing enough to host us so we can get the good software so I can edit these so they're nice and clear and kind of pretty. And so yeah, I'm running a commercial for him. You don't have to pay. If you do one of 3 things, go ahead and do one of our countdown questionnaires, and you can email us and I will send you that questionnaire. The second thing you can do is kind of like in Reading Rainbow, where the kid would be like, "Hi, my name is Chris and this is my book. I'm going to tell you all about my book." Do it with your zine. Tell us all about your zine. Tell us about your favorite zine from somebody else. Also, if you want to do a zine fair tour and you want to show us some stuff and you show us what the zine fair is all about, I would love that footage. I can't make it everywhere. I'd love to be able to see cake and mice in Boston, but I can't get there right now. I am here and queer. Anyway, so the third thing is, if you don't want to be on camera, but you want to put out like, hey, I have a new zine coming out, or there's a zine fair, make like a placard, placard size thing. Like if you have Canva, that works really well. And you can make it like this size, which is like, landscape, or you can make it this way too. It doesn't matter. And put all the information, and I'll run it in the community segment at the end of each episode, so it can like, roll on. You can see like a good little chunk with some music behind it. Da, 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 da. Crickets, I know. But yeah, so the other thing you can do if you really want, and you don't want to be on screen, but you want me to review, you can send us your comics. I mean, you can send us your comics, your zines, whatever. I will do what I can to put everything on here. That being said, I do have some backstock from Zine Cuisine before my mental breakdown, of zines that I'm going to be reviewing over the next. So there's going to be a second episode coming each week. I hope you like that, but it is what it is. I'm doing my best with this. I just have such big plans. And anyway, we're going to talk about Scarfff zines. I'm covering her chimichangas right there because they're kind of showing. One thing I am completely enamored about in this zine is, and I know you can hear it, let's do some ASMR. Newsprint. I love newsprint. Maybe it's because I worked for a newspaper when I was younger. I delivered newspapers when I was like a kid. I also worked for a newspaper when I was in high school, like an actual newspaper. I worked on layout, and I also did like obituaries and grandkids pages. So I've always had like a big soft spot in my heart for newspapers. Also, yeah, it was a whole time ago. Anyway, so I really appreciate a good newsprint. I really appreciate a good newsprint zine, just because there's something about newsprint that just makes me super happy. All right, so we're going to talk about this one. Ooh, look at that. I'm covering her boobies. I love them, but still. Shh. All right. As you can see here, there's some really cool pages. The layout is amazing in this. And from what I'm gathering, this is the issue that I'm covering right now. There is a new issue, and it's got Sailor Moon on the cover, and it's pink and black. This one is green and black. The inside is all black and white, but the cover is green and black. So every issue is going to have, like, I guess, a different color from what I'm gathering. They're pretty active on Instagram as well, so you can always go there and see the new issues and, send away for one. I am loving, look at this. I mean, the comics are great. So if you do make comics or you do illustrations or something, go ahead and hit them up and send in your illustrations. I'd love to see your stuff in here. The pictures are just so good, and it does have an adult warning on the front, so it's got some adult level things that are probably not things you want to put. Um, it does have an adult rating on it, so I would not give this to your like 8-year-old and hope for the best. Probably not a good idea. But yeah, the comics in here are really good. I love them. Oh, look at that. It's kind of like a little... Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Anyone seen my zither? It's just really cool. And look at this. The splash page is 106.9, the scarf. I absolutely adore this. It's got so much talent in this newspaper. I mean, anytime I've collected quite a few newspapers. We have Nightmare of the Rat from Rafer Roberts. That one's really cool. And I have a couple other ones. Some other friends make ones that are with this. Hopefully we'll be getting a tutorial from one of them, and you know who you are. So, I mean, I definitely say go out and get one. Like, we got Bummer Comics in here. I mean, this is a good size, too. Like, this is not a small zine. And I know I did put the question of the day a couple days ago on our Instagram that, you know, what kind of zine do you like to make? And a lot of people were chiming in with the, I like a half page with staple bound. That's a classic. I'm not going to argue that, but also, like, the little 1-page, 8-panel one is also very popular. You also got, like, the funnies. So these are all nothing but strips. Like funny strips, and it just felt really good reading this. I don't want to sit there and go over each individual page with you because I really feel that I'll be doing you a disservice and you need to just discover it yourself. There's so much to see in here. So again, that is Scarfff Comics, and hit them up on the Instagrams. The newest issue is out and it looks bomb. I don't know. I don't think I got a copy of it. But maybe I did. It might already be packed. That's the problem with moving, is I had this one set out. I don't know if I have the new copy yet, though. So I need to get that either way. We have a great interview with Sage Coffey, little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown questionnaire. We're going to roll that and then come back with us, and we're going to talk a little bit more.
Hi there, my name is Sage Coffey. I am a trans non-binary cartoonist in Chicago. I am best known for my work with The New Yorker, The Washington Post, and The Nib. Most recently, the video game Bug Snacks, and my zines, Wine Ghost, and If It Were Socially Acceptable. I use they, them pronouns, and yeah. 5 of my favorite zines. This is a really difficult one, just because I have so many everywhere in my house. I have so many zines, like so many cartoonists do. But I will start with the Zebra Galaxy Singles Directory. It's a really, really beautifully illustrated photo zine / fictional object. I'm not really sure what to call this category of zines, where it kind of brings you as a reader into a universe where this exists, if that makes any sense. But it's really, really beautifully illustrated. It even has ads in it. And this is by Gage Lindsten. Yes, Gage Lindsten. And yeah, it's just really fun, like character designs, and it tells you about each person. Tells you about each person on the bottom, and it's just a really fun zine. Next, I have Sonic Meditations by 10 Deep Listeners. So I have panic disorder, and I feel like it's really, really common for people to say, oh, well, sit down and meditate, it helps so much, without really experiencing what it's like to not be able to do that. And this zine has really helped me sort of be able to get out of my head in a way that I haven't been able to previously. And I think one thing that really helps with that, with this design specifically, is it starts with instructions, just on the cover. It says, before reading this publication, sit with your eyes closed for 20 minutes and listen to everything that is sounding. Inside, there are different instructions, but also, like, they're poems. There's typography. Like, walk so silently that the bottoms of your feet become ears. I just think it's really, really interesting, and it's helped me a lot. So yeah, it's another zine fave. Next, I really, really like Dead Parents Society by Carta Monier and Lyle Partridge. It talks about processing grief after losing a parent. But also, like, even though it's such a vulnerable subject matter, still has a level of humor to it. There's one part where Lyle tries to articulate what it's like to feel the grief of their dad never getting to know that they're trans. And that hit really close to home for me because my dad died when I was really, really young. And I think a lot about who he would see me as if he was alive today. That's not the humor part of it. The humor part of it is them trying to figure out how to articulate it, and doing so in the style of a political cartoon, labeling grief on a big dog that they lead on a leash, deciding that that's tacky, and then writing, my dad died and it was awful, and he never knew I was trans because I'm a coward, I'm sorry, and leading that on a leash. It also comes with a card, so you can be a card-carrying member of the Dead Parents Society. I don't know, it's just really, really beautiful and unique and just awesome. Carta and Lyle both are such amazing artists. I can't recommend this enough. Next, we have Puska, which is a fictional magazine for the artist's cat. And that artist is Comb Cat. And it's just really fun. My mom entered a lot of contests when I was a kid, and one of those prizes was like a year's subscription to 17. And this has the same kind of raw energy as 17 magazine in the early aughts. It's super fun. It has an interview with a cat named Cosmos. It has a quiz of like, are you and your human a perfect match? What to wear for fall, like that kind of thing. I don't know, it's super fun. It's not stapled, which I thought was really unique. And not something that I'm personally used to when getting zines. But I really, really liked it. And currently like it. Lastly is Hearts and Stars by Olivia Fields. Beautifully crafted, firstly. Like, so this is, I believe, golden risograph on black paper, which might not catch on camera super well. but it's absolutely gorgeous. And they took the time to even print on the back, too, which is just such a nice touch. But this comic zine talks about burnout, and not in a way where it's like, oh, you gotta push through it, you gotta like keep just moving forward no matter what. Like, it doesn't just, it doesn't force you, or it doesn't encourage you to ignore burnout. It does talk about remembering why you're doing the thing you're doing outside of production of a thing. I don't know. It's just a really beautiful zine. I think about it a lot. I actually have it right next to my desk at all times. And yeah, it's just really good. For zine making tools I cannot live without. Number one, my booklet stapler. I know a lot of people prefer long arm staplers. This is my hot take. This is my controversial object. No, I prefer this. I'm not sure if like my brain is just scrambled by a long arm stapler, but I really like this booklet stapler. I got it at a garage sale or something, like a thrift store for $5. Yeah, that's great. I like it. I use it to staple all my zines, which is why I can't make zines without it. Next, kind of correlates, is my bone folder. There's just nothing more satisfying than like when you finish stapling a zine and you just go, like, it's so crisp. It's such a nice feeling. As you can see, mine is very well loved. I think I've had this since college. And yeah, bone folder. It's very important to me. Next, I have a Kuretake 33. I use these to ink all my zines. I have a little piece of washi tape on it, so I can kind of keep track which ones are running out of ink versus full ones, and I just memorize it. I have tons of washi tapes, so like usually I'll have 3 or 4 of these going at once. It's filled with Sumi ink, by the way, which is like really, really not watery, but like slick ink. And I don't know, it just helps me get the lines that I get. I really like it. This one's about dead, and I know that because the washi tape has worms on it. And that washi tape is by Britt Wilson. Yeah. And lastly, my Cintiq. I know this is maybe a bougie answer. I got it for free from my friend and fellow zine maker / cartoonist Kevin Budnick, which sincerely thank yous, changed my life and general zine making capacity. Anything like laying out a zine or anything, doing it with a mouse, just takes me 20 times longer. And it helps me so much. It helps me so much. 3 things that inspire my process. Again, hard to narrow it down to 3. I find inspiration in everything, honestly. Like, if I go out for a walk, I'll probably find inspiration on the ground. Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down to 3. If I were to narrow it down to like pieces of media that have inspired me recently, I would say the new Resident Evil game. You can kind of see that I have little printed cards here from Joy-san, who's a fantastic Canadian artist. But yeah, all the characters were so interesting and fun, and it still has a sense of humor to it. There's one point where the main character gets his hand cut off, and he just pops it right back on. And later they explain like how that happened and the science behind it and all that in the story. But in the moment, I was like, "Yeah, I love Evil Dead." So I think in general, like horror comedy, I think is very for me. That inspires me a lot. The Linda Lindas, their music is a huge inspiration to me, mostly because they just have this really raw power to them. This like a just raw punk energy, and listening to their music fills me with that same energy. And yeah, they're awesome. Lastly, I would say I like a lot of drag artists, following a lot of drag artists. And Milo, who's a drag artist in, I believe, Canada as well, does this thing where they try to mimic their face in their outfits. And it's just really cool. And I find a lot of inspiration just looking at drag. 2 reasons my zines are unique. That's not for me to say. That's not. I'm not the person who gets to decide what's unique about my work. That's other people's perception is what's unique. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? If I were to say anything, it's because the work that I make comes from my perspective. Every zine comes from a unique perspective. It comes from that person's background, that person's life experience. So I guess the main one is that it's made by me, which feels like such a goofy cop-out answer, but it's true. And the other reason it's unique is because I feel like all my character designs are born out of boredom. Like Wine Ghost, Wine Ghost's design came because I was tabling at an event and it was just absolutely dead. Like I think I made like 2 sales or something, and I was just doodling, and I was drawing a ghost with legs, and then I started adding hair, and then I started adding the heels, and then I started adding the attitude, and that's how Wine Ghost was born. That's how the Snake with Legs was born. I was at a zine making event, just doodling. The Snake with Legs is from If It Were Socially Acceptable, which is a zine of mine. And yeah, I don't know. So characters made out of boredom and the fact that they're made by me. One upcoming project I'm super proud of, I just finished my first ever graphic novel, which is, I never thought that I would ever even have a graphic novel, or be able to make one, really. Most of my work is maybe 20 pages at max, and the graphic novel, which is Wine Ghost Goes to Hell, is 80 pages. And I never thought that I could do that. Or it's not that I never thought that I could do that. It's more so that, like, so much work goes into making comics and making zines that it's such a privilege to be able to have the time to accomplish that. If that makes more sense to say. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of it, and I really hope people like it as much as I liked making it. It touches on some really personal stuff that I went through, as well as just a lot of really goofy stuff that I got to do with Wine Ghost's character. And I think people will like it, maybe. But yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to watch all the other videos. Yeah. You can find my work at Sage Coffey, SageCoffey.com. All my zines are there to read for free. And you will be able to get Wine Ghost next year, 2023, around October from Iron Circus Comics. Thank you so much for having me again. Bye.
I hope you enjoy that. I love Sage. We've met a couple times at SPX, and Sage is just like, I don't know, like a candy apple. It's just like sweet inside and just got this like, you know, cool exterior. Just like, hey, I made Wine Ghost. I've got quite a bit of Wine Ghost, and I should definitely do a review on those as well. But it'll have to wait until the new studio is up and running, because right now my desk is a mess and my studio is all packed up. Someday I'll actually move. Don't know when. It'll happen. The studio is going to be bigger though, so I'm actually going to put a green screen. I have some great ideas. I will see you on the flip side. Let's go ahead and roll all the community messages, and if I'm going to see you at SPX in September, sound off below, because I'm really excited about that. I have a press pass, and I'm going to be like, hey, how are you doing with zines? You make a lot of zines? Really? Yeah, you do. What's your favorite zine? I'll be asking all the hard-hitting questions. Like, you know, I'm talking like hard journalism. Like, not really. I'm going to be asking like teddy bear questions. So that's it. That's a wrap. And peace. See you next time. Woo. Comic life. Not going to do this. This is a terrible intro. I really need a fucking teleprompter, and I need to start writing a script. But I'm doing this all by myself, and I can't do everything, and edit, and direct, and do everything else. So. Hey everybody, it's Chris. Welcome back to Zineville. We have a great episode packed for you today. We have a